Although these two words seem to be interchanged quite easily in conversations and readings, there is a distinct difference between inspiration and motivation. Inspiration comes from the Latin word spirare, which means to breathe, and when you are in tune with your spirit, the positive feelings you feel are in tune with your soul. You can breathe. You feel that you can achieve anything you want to. You feel invincible. You feel alive. The doubts are removed from your thoughts processes. You get a boost of energy and you feel like nothing can bring you down. How you go about your tasks is up to you. Great business leaders are leaders because they inspire the people around them to feel doubtless. Motivation, on the other hand, comes from the Latin word movere, which means to move, and it is more like providing a boost to someone to get them to move. A motivational speaker will tune in with their audience with arguments and examples that will specifically provide a unique solution to challenge or problem, and motivate that person to accomplish a result. Sometimes the feelings are dormant and a motivational speaker will just awaken these feelings, shake them, and motivate a person to accomplish something they are interested in. In short, inspiration will generate a feeling of clarity toward a general direction, even just an idea, whilst motivation will generate a push toward a specific goal or desire, and help remove or positively resolve any roadblocks. Most times organizations hire professional speakers as keynote speakers to inspire, motivate, or entertain their audiences. Specific dinner events, corporate conferences, universities, high schools, the annual Christmas corporate events, industry events as part of a group of companies, suppliers, prospect clients, customers, coming together to discuss industry issues are a few examples of how organizations can benefit from having a speaker or a speakers panel. A good speaker will be able to link his speech to the need of the audience, either directly if they are hired to do so to address an intimate and specific topic, or indirectly by sharing her knowledge, background and experience in a way that can trigger the proper emotional responses in someone's mind, yet without explicitly targeting individual issues and challenges. Inspiration and motivation can be totally disassociated and serve a unique purpose, or can be combined into a more direct approach. I believe you can draw inspiration from anything, and I also believe that inspiration is a necessary prerequisite for motivation to stick around for the long term. As an inspirational speaker, I seek to target deep and common universal truths. I then use these universal truths to trigger dormant feelings, dreams, and desires, to expose them in the open for the audience to reconnect the dots and reestablish that connection that will help them not just get some inspiration from myself, but most importantly to be able to self-inspire. I do not need to know what these dormant feels are for each member of the audience. This is irrelevant because you want each person to take these universal truths and so that they can relate to them with their own conscious and subconscious mind, reignite their dormant feelings and reconnect their own inspirational dots. This is done as part of a very visual storytelling, which is my preferred way of engaging the audience, so that they can see the story through their own eyes. I want the audience to visualize the story, to imagine it in their own mind simply by establishing it the way communicating, listening the words I say and watching my body language, without any disruption. That vision they will achieve will have a much more powerful and lasting effect than trying to remember a diagram or words on PowerPoint slideshow. The method is similar to the one we all know very well. Remember the joy you received when your parents told you stories at bedtime before you knew how to read. You loved these stories because you could see yourself in them. They made you imagine and dream, and the same principles apply during my inspirational speeches. As a speaker, we often have a very limited amount of time, ranging from 15 minutes to a few hours. In that time, we must engage a totally unknown audience that we have never met or spoken with before, total strangers. So it is extremely important to draw the audience in very quickly so that the targeted key points, The end goal of your speech stick by sharing a very visual story that uses a mix of emotional triggers for the audience mind to open up very quickly and be receptive. This cannot be achieved without targeting universal truths that people agree with to start with so that an immediate connection is made. So, what are these universal truths? Well, there can be many, but here are a few that we all have. Accomplishing our dreams. Emotional happiness. Facing challenges. Uncertainty. Clarity. Fear. Joy. So on and so forth. Using these universal and often very emotional truths as part of a visual storytelling that draw upon the speaker's own experience, teasing the audience from time to time to engage their mindset to triggers their old mind, the dormant feelings, to react to an emotion that connects the speaker's story to the audience member is very important. At the same time, the speaker needs to continuously adjust the story, speech pattern, and emotional triggers to ensure that the connection between the speaker and the audience members remains optimal. During that limited time is when the best opportunities are to introduce the inspirational elements that will stick to the audience mindset. These inspirational elements triggers then connect to the member's own story, whatever that might be, leaving the audience inspired to accomplish their own great story. The inspirational elements vary, of course, but they should be no more than 3-5 key messages, and simpler is key for the best results. Some of my speeches that talks about Dream Racer, a film based on the famous Dakar rally, concentrate on 3 key end messages. 1. Challenge yourself to the unknown. 2. Learn the process of learning by embracing failure. 3. Establish, develop and train yourself to gain and retain a positive mindset. Of course, the key end result is not to rely on inspiring events to get you inspired, but rather by developing your own formula, such as applying these inspirational elements to your daily life, all the time, so that you can continuously self-inspire. Once the prerequisite self-inspirational elements are in place in your own mindset, it behaves like the glue and hardener working jointly to provide you with a solid base from which you can build from, and for motivation to be most effective for the long term. Once these inspirational elements are in place to act as a compass, a speaker can then explore the motivating factors that will cause you to make a change to your behavior. These motivating factors can be simple, can be difficult, known or unknown, or even very delicate to extract from your mindset. Remember that motivating as someone is not about shouting at you to repeat a number of sets at the gym, but rather a way to motivate your mindset using the exact psychological levers at the right exact time. To be effective, speakers need to remember that everyone has a different background, different upbringing, culture, experience with life, so motivating an individual to accomplish a certain task can start at the group level for an overall momentum in the right direction during talks, but then would need to be specific to that individual to best extract the performance of that individual, similar to having a personal trainer, but in this case, that personal trainer is here to motivate you so that you can extract the best life performance out of yourself. In summary, inspiration will bring clarity to your inner desires in the long-term direction you need to take, whilst motivation will provide you with the tools to achieve that goal. Audience can use inspirational and motivational speakers that spark an emotional response, but they can also develop a positive mindset to self-inspire and self-motivate.